Well, hello folks. Today I'm actually out in the middle of wilderness, and it's exciting. I mean, to be out here and hear the rushing water, thinking about, you know, 100, 200 years ago when the Native Americans being out here and just being in nature. That's what it's all about. You know, it's truly a spiritual thing to say, okay, this is pristine, it hasn't been touched. That's what it's all about. I'm Wayne Hubbard, and you're watching the Urban American Outdoor Show.
You never know when, but thieves can steal your identity and turn your life upside down.
Hi.
Hi. You know, I can save you 15% today if you open up a charge card account with us.
You just read my mind.
Just one little piece of information, and they can steal your credit, your money, and ruin your reputation. That's why you need LifeLock to help stop crooks before your identity is attacked. And now you can have the most comprehensive identity theft protection available today. LifeLock Ultimate. So for protection you just can't get anywhere else, get LifeLock Ultimate.
Call 800-306-5415 or go to lifelock.com and try LifeLock protection risk-free for 60 days. No risk means there is no reason to wait another minute. Use promo code COVER. Get LifeLock protection risk-free for 60 days. Protect what you've earned. Call 800-306-5415. Use promo code COVER.
I'm Wayne Hubbard, host of Urban American Outdoor Show, inviting you to join us every week for a different kind of outdoor experience. We showcase a variety of unique locations from around the world for everyone, where we put the urban and outdoors, whether you like hunting, fishing, cooking, or just getting your party on. Urban American Outdoors is a place to be to learn those techniques that make your next outing a great one. Don't let this one get away. It's Urban American Outdoors, the outdoors from a different perspective. Today on the Urban American Outdoor Show, we're in the mountains, we're in the forest. And what we're doing is we're hanging out with the Forest Service, learning some unique jobs that they're doing to make this forest system work.
We're on top of Nez Perce Pass, so we're on the border of Montana and Idaho. And we're also on the border of two wildernesses, the Frank Church River No Return Wilderness, in honor of Frank Forrester Church, senator from Idaho. And then on this side of the road is the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness. And this sign commemorates Doris Milner, who was an activist and a big part of the push behind the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness. And she died in 2007, and this commemorates her. So we thought it was really fitting. On this side you had a private individual that was a lover of wilderness, that really was active in seeing this wilderness designated. And on this side you had a congressional advocate that was quite active, and in his name, the Frank Church River No Return Wildernesses. So we put this here to explain the relationship of the two wildernesses that almost meet, separated by the Magruder Corridor. Frank Church Wilderness was designated in the 1980 Central Idaho Wilderness Act, and the Selway Bitterroot was designated in the 1964 Next year will be the 50th anniversary of the original Wilderness Act. And when the Central Idaho Wilderness Bill passed, it expanded the Selway Bitterroot and the Frank Church to the and established the Frank Church, and they come together at the corridor. So it's a good place to get perspective and look at how much of the big backyard there is.
How many acres total with the two wilderness there are we looking at?
Well, between the two of them, it'd be 3.4 about. So the Frank Church is about 2.3, and the Selway Bitterroot is about 1.1. So, relative perspective, the Frank Church is about the size of Yellowstone National Park, and the Selway Bitterroot is about the size of Glacier National Park. But they're close together here in this case.
So over 3 million acres of land. It's just absolutely amazing. And what are some of the wildlife that typically is known for this area? Some of the things that people, when you think about this wilderness area, what are some of the wildlife that people go like, this is?
Well, there's pretty much the full assortment of wildlife for this part of the world. There are elk and deer, of course, mountain lions, black bears, and what we don't have right now, or at least we have occasional sightings of grizzly bears here, but not a reproducing population of grizzly bears. And mountain goats, we do have goats as well. But the elk hunting here is part of what made Idaho famous.
Okay.
So,
well, that's what I was thinking. I was just looking at some of the, being out here in the wilderness, if you can't come out here and actually experience, it's one thing looking at a picture, it's another thing being out here. It's a whole different change of mind.
Yeah.
It gives you a deeper perspective.
So you're pretty deep in the wilderness.
Yeah, well,
people really
you better
appreciate
not come out here and play. Plenty of water. Before you come out here, do your research. Do your research. Have a good GPS. Be prepared.
Sage advice. Yeah. Yeah, part of the aspect that makes these two wildernesses particularly special is the Frank Church has two wild rivers in it, the main salmon and the middle fork salmon, and the Selway is partly named for the Selway River. So in addition to traveling by trail and by horseback, by foot, there's also the travel by wild rivers and some of the great, very tremendous wild and scenic rivers in the lower 48 are right here.
Well, aren't they actually known, as some of the destinations for whitewater rafting and kayaking?
Oh yeah, very, very definitely.
Well, I've had you can't have a better day than this. I've had a fantastic day out here. This is absolutely it's breathtaking when you come out here and just think about I imagine now, but 100 years ago or 200 years ago, it's wild here, but man, I was just playing that back in my mind. Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely wow.
Yeah.
So.
And the great thing about wilderness is it's not a great deal different than it was 100 years ago. And you can still experience that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Be prepared. Yeah,
we're very fortunate to have it, and the American public are very fortunate to have it as their land. It's their land.
Exactly. Well, folks, we're going to roll on. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. I'm really excited about this. I'm here at the very first Forest Ranger Station, and I'm with a really incredible guy. Tell them who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Dave Campbell. I'm the District Ranger here at the West Fork District on the Bitterroot National Forest in southwest Montana. So my position is the decision-making position for everything that happens on that 800,000 acres.
This dude's having a great time. We're not going to show anybody this, but he's having a great time. But back to you now.
Living the dream, man.
Man, you are the dream. You are the dream. Tell me about this location. This is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, this is, we have a lot of history associated with the Forest Service, and on the West Fork, this is an important site, first ranger station the Forest Service built in 1899.
So it definitely, it'd been around when Teddy Roosevelt was.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, back when Teddy and Gifford were drawing the big lines and establishing the National Forest. This was back when it was a forest reserves, before the Forest Service, before the transfer to the Department of Agriculture. So
a little bit different than your office, though.
Yeah, it's breezier.
Yeah, a little bit different. I was kind of running around here, and I thought I'd see Laura Ingalls running down the hill or something. But so typically, what is it? Just a one room? Is it really a one room?
Well, back in those days, the ranger districts were established essentially in the size that a ranger could travel on horseback.
Okay.
And see the whole district and hopefully take care of everything that needed to be taken care of. So they were smaller, and oftentimes the ranger was not very well compensated. They just had to build their own cabin, sometimes had to supply their own horse, and then they just travel that way. In fact, I have a letter that I've kept that I refer to as a no whining letter from 1903. Somebody wrote to the rangers in the field and said, "There's no reason why a ranger with a good horse can't control all the fires in his district without enlisting additional help." It was in 1903. Times were simple then.
I was going to say, you need a big hose.
Well, it was pretty.
This is the West Fork Ranger Station, and it was built in 1933 by a master craftsman named Ole Tangen. Our training is to bring these things back.
Okay.
So we laid in the bottom log, and then all the other logs that were cut, there was only just a little bit left. And we have this log sitting outside.
Okay.
So what we do, and let's walk around to the other side.
Okay.
The log cabin is built just like Lincoln logs. You stack. So these are called saddle notches.
Okay.
And you can see we've split. You just cut that, pull this out, and then we can slide this log in and out. And we put it back.
And that's actually part of the original logging, right?
Yeah.
Notching our logs.
Good.
Normally we'll set up and we'll size our log that's in place, and then we'll do it up on the wall. But here we have so many short pieces that we're able to come out here and do it. And what we did is we took this old log, and then we found a piece that had the same shape, fit cleanly in this notch, and that's this piece. And then we're going to scribe this, and then we'll take it in and fit it. They've been using this technology since they started building logs. And of course, this isn't going to be perfect. We're going to notch this with a chainsaw. Let's leave it. We'll take some clamp-on lights. These buildings are designed, and it's actually a Forest Service design. And there's a rustic look that the Forest Service wanted, and we did an oral history interview with the guy that was the designer, and he said, "Well, I designed what I thought rustic would be, and the pioneers coming out here."
So this is his own design.
Yeah. This is a made up design and style. He's incorporated some different ethnic styles, but this is really a Forest Service design.
pretty interesting trail markers on the trees. There are these little plastic kind of insignias that are about that big.
Okay.
And on one side of the tree, it tells you that you're walking on the Lewis and Clark Trail,
Okay.
because it goes to the west. And then the other side, it tells you you're walking on the Lolo Trail. My name is Sid Bacon, and I'm an archaeologist for the Lolo National Forest here in western Montana. Really, my passion is historic archaeology and showing things to people that are still there on the landscape that maybe they can understand. Here we are here, and we'll just take a few minutes to get an idea what it would be like walking on the Lolo Trail. So this is a marker describing the Nez Perce Trail, because we're heading east. And then there's the mark on the other side. But this is a bona fide section of the trail, and it doesn't cheat. So a lot of people ask why didn't they just hang out in the creek bottoms in the flat where the highway is today, and the reason why is because number one, they wanted to stay high so they could stay above either predators or their enemies. Another reason why is because it was just a thicket, full of bugs and thorny nettles and bushes and snakes probably, and visibility with vegetation this high. It's kind of a pain to bushwhack through all of that. Whereas, yeah, this isn't real fun. It's pretty arduous. However, once you get to an open, more clear area, you can see all around you. And especially during the 1870s, when tensions were so high between the Native Americans and the white people, the Nez Perce wanted to make sure that they knew where their enemies were at all times.
How far up does it open before it opens up?
You're looking at probably about a quarter mile, half mile.
And so
Yeah.
Then you're up. Then it opens up so they can see the valley.
Yes. Now, and also keep in mind here that a lot of these trees here are lodgepole. A lot of them are just about 100 or so years old. So these trees were not here back then.
It's really interesting to think that you're up. The same trails that they used 200 or 300 years ago is still active.
Yeah. It's still got not a lot of vegetation in the middle of it. I mean, people still use it. Animals, as we've seen, still use it. So.
And folks, this is not Sasquatch hair right here. This is, or maybe it is. Watch out, Sasquatch. I got your hair and some beef jerky in my back pocket. But we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna go with Sydney. We're gonna stop playing, folks. Let's roll on. You know, folks, this ain't no joke. We're about 65, almost 7,000 feet up. Air's thin. The Native Americans, the cardio. I mean, I can't say anymore, man. It's like you look at the vastness. We've been climbing, and can you imagine? There's no McDonald's. There's no roads. There's no Band-Aids. There's you and the element on the side of a mountain. Dude, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. And to think that this trail has been here for almost over 300 years. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a workout, folks. You know. I ain't got no more to say. I'm gonna walk on. You know, when you're hanging out with the bacon. Hey!
Missouri, a state where mighty rivers meet and forests grow tall, where our most basic resources provide natural health, recreational wealth, and economic strength. At the Missouri Department of Conservation, we work with and for you to keep the outdoors healthy. Conservation helps people discover nature. You care, we serve, it pays. Conservation.
Let me tell you some of the reasons people get into trouble with credit cards. A job loss or salary cut, an unexpected expense. Consolidated Credit helped over 5 million people just like you. We can reduce your interest rates, cut your monthly payments, and help you get out of debt fast. The time to call Consolidated Credit is now. When debt is the problem, we are the solution.
Call Consolidated Credit now.
Call 800-339-9334.
I'm Colin Hardy. I'm the program manager for the Fire, Fuel, and Smoke Science program. Well, we have, I'd say, 3 real main components of the science that we do, and it's all around fire. The big one that the place was built for was to understand fire behavior, the combustion process, the fundamental fire physics, all the stuff that people use in models and predictive systems and computer models today came from that science. That fundamental fire behavior includes the wind flows and the heat transfer and combustion. And the second one, there's a big white ball on the roof of this building, and that's a satellite receiving station. So we receive signals from a detector on 2 satellites that each goes over twice a day. On the MODIS detector, it's the first spaceborne instrument developed to find fire on Earth. So our second big area in the program here is smoke and emissions characterization. So we could tell you anywhere on the continent what we can forecast and predict what concentrations of ozone, particulate matter, CO, CO2, and those chemicals are based on data from the satellite, data from our fundamental combustion work, and a lot of scientists that model where that smoke's going to go and how it changes. The leader of that team shared in the Nobel Peace Prize with the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, I think 4 years ago. The third, I think I mentioned that we do less than half of our work in this building. It's a great facility. It's the most comprehensive combustion lab in the world still today, but at least half of our work is done outside, in fire ecology, prescribed fire, restoration work, invasive species, kind of the combination of fire and fire effects.
Hi, my name is Chris Bowles, and I'm the assistant superintendent on the Bitterroot Hotshot crew. I've been working for the Forest Service for 21 years now. So, I enjoy the outdoors more than anything, and this job provides me an opportunity to work in the woods, not have to be in an office, and deal with all of the corporate stuff that goes with that. So it's just nice to get out. This job allows me the opportunity to stay in shape, physically fit, and get to be surrounded by a group of 20 individuals that are also equally fit and share the same concept, I guess, of just hard work and getting to be outside and enjoying the elements. One of the best feelings that you have when working on a hotshot crew and in fire in general is when, with the way things are going today, with so much urban interface involved with fires and whatnot, when we can come into a fire situation and be able to do what we do as a job, and then at the end of 2 weeks walk away or drive away and look back and see that the smoke is gone and the homes haven't burned to the ground and people are happy. The community usually shows pretty big support, and so that's pretty rewarding.
My name's Katie Patterson, and I'm the lead 5 for the Bitterroot Hotshot crew. Well, this is my 9th year. I started right out of high school. My dad works for the Bureau of Land Management, and said it would be a cool summer job for me to get into, and I did, and fell in love and haven't been able to get rid of me. I do what I do for the camaraderie of the crew in general. I mean, it's a real pride factor to be involved with the Hot Shots.
I'm Pete Fromm, and we're on the Selway River right now in the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness. And when I was 20, I was going to school in Missoula and heard about a job where they were trying to reintroduce salmon to the river here. And they put 2 million salmon eggs into this channel, and they needed someone to spend the winter with them to chop ice off the channel so they wouldn't freeze solid and wind up with 2 million salmon cubes. They put a wall tent up on the other side of the creek and dropped me off in October, gave me an axe to chop ice off the fish eggs, and came back in June. About every month or two, they'd snowmobile in, bring mail, see if I was alive. I kept a journal the whole winter I was in here, and it wasn't 11 years later I started writing the book. One kid, Eric, came in here, they have to read the book as a freshman, and then they came up with this idea of coming back in here and checking out the area, and it caught fire in him, and he's come out for the last 3 years and decided that he really wanted to do something for the area. He'll be a senior next year. So to see that something I did on a whim and then wrote about sort of also on a whim affect a kid 30 years later is kind of humbling, really. But I think that every kids are capable of doing so much more than they know they are. If you can get them out here, you just watch them take off. It's fabulous.
Well, folks had a great time here in Montana and Idaho in the Bitterroot National Forest. What was incredible was that the scenery was incredible, but it was the people that made it great. So until next time, I'm Wayne Hubbard. You've been watching the Urban American Outdoor Show. You guys have a great one out there.
Best thing that ever happened to me.
I'm happy with the way I look now.
I'm very excited about my hair.
I feel beautiful.
I love my hair.
Hair Club offers all proven hair loss solutions backed by our commitment to satisfaction guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied with the solution you choose, Hair Club will apply the purchase price to another proven hair loss solution or transplant more hair at no charge.
That was the best thing I've ever done.
It looks good on me.
Call in the next 5 minutes to get your free brochure at no obligation. It will tell you everything you need to know about your hair loss problem, and it's free if you call now.
I am more pleased than what I had even imagined.
I at least look, I would say, 5 years younger.
I'm 52, and I look better now than I did when I was in my 40s.
I feel great.
And that's not all. The first 100 people who call will also receive $250 off any hair loss solution from Hair Club. Call now.